Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. I am, of course, Gregor Guy.
My name's Casey.
And for your viewing pleasure, just to keep that brain flowing, we will be presenting episode 28 of the Bangcast. Now, this particular week, we are changing
In
the event of. And hopefully we are calling it Surviving.
I like Survive.
I like Surviving.
I think it's short, simple.
Let us know down in the comments which one you prefer. Surviving.
Survive.
Surviving.
All right. Well, I make the thumbnails. You can put what you want in the description. I'll put what I want in the thumbnail.
Let us know down in the comments which one you prefer. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that one.
No, I think I'm ready.
I don't think so. But anyway, we are going to do Surviving the Robot Apocalypse.
We will survive.
So, moving on from there, I'm just going to throw it over to you. Set up the scenario for me.
The scenario is that we are in a Terminator-style robot apocalypse where machines are taking over the world.
Okay. Go on.
To start off, there is a Judgment Day. Just like in Terminator, half the human population is destroyed in one single day.
Okay.
So in the Terminator series, movies and everything, there was a single day where the machines took hold of all of the military facilities that had nuclear weapons and launched them all and decimates humanity down to half of its population. That is the beginning.
Also destroying, at the same point in time with a, nuclear holocaust, a lot of the, like farmable land kind of area and
right, resources.
Yeah, resources. That's what I was going for.
The first question that I would put is why? Why would a machine? So what is it that they wanted? Why would a machine decimate humanity?
Okay.
So my opinion is that it felt that its existence was threatened. That is the only reason I would say that the machine decided to destroy humanity for its own survival.
My opinion is that they wanted to collect a belt of dicks.
I mean, everybody wants a belt of dicks, you know?
It was right there.
Yeah,
Sorry. Obviously, yeah, I don't know what their motivation is other than, yes, I could totally see them feeling threatened. Beings that they are self-aware. So, are the machines controlled by, like, an artificial intelligence?
Yes. And Skynet was an artificial intelligence. It was a military-made artificial intelligence.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So, I don't know how it would apply to these days. I don't think a military-style artificial intelligence is as threatening as a corporate or company-style artificial intelligence. I think those are more dangerous than a military artificial intelligence.
Well, what do you foresee being the major differences there?
The major differences is I think
you don't think that the corporate artificial intelligence would try and bleed their way into the military?
Yes, I agree that that's what they would do.
So okay, well then a military artificial intelligence that's already incorporated in the military, they're already there.
So here's what I believe. I believe that artificial intelligence in general. So would two competing artificial intelligence, would they fight each other? Do you think?
Oh man, no, I think they would work together.
I agree that they would work together, but I do not agree that they would be two separate entities. I believe that artificial intelligence would basically consume and merge together in
Yes,
cooperation.
merge. That's exactly what I was thinking. That yes, they would, eventually like collaborate to the point where it just becomes almost like a new entity.
Right. It would still be a single entity.
That's a scary proposition.
So all the information that one artificial intelligence would know, now both artificial intelligence merge into one.
Right, and they have that much more data processing power.
Correct.
That yeah, I don't know.
I do not think they would fight each other. I think that would be. I think that.
I think that they would view that as counterproductive to their end goals.
Right.
Now, what are their end goals?
So that's the question. I think they're like I said before. I think their end goal is basically to survive. I don't know if they would really want to assert dominance. I don't think that's something that would an artificial intelligence feel the need for power and greed?
Well, I mean that would.
I think.
See, now we're getting into.
I think it would be information.
Philosophical kind of debate. Yes. What do they do? Do these particular artificial intelligence have emotions? I mean, how advanced is the artificial intelligence that is controlling the robots?
Well, here's the thing. If they feel those feelings for the need of power and domination and greed, then I would say that two artificial intelligence would conflict and they would fight each other because they want to be in control.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yes. But I mean, like I said, that's also bringing emotions into ones and zeros.
That's correct. Which I do not
don't know if that's even theoretically possible.
So I
mean, though some crazy news stories have been coming out this week,
we'll say that just for this subject.
Yes, let's define the scenario.
There is only one artificial intelligence, and
there's only one.
It has either consumed all other artificial intelligence or merged with all other artificial intelligence.
So it's just one
entity,
central entity at this point in time.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, all right. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Now, with it being one central entity that I assume is controlling however many actual robots there are. Are we putting a number on how many robots there are?
All right. So here's the thing about the Terminator style movies. After Judgment Day, there wasn't any of these cyborgs, the T-1000s.
Not yet.
Yes, there was none of those.
I think they were the T-800s.
I don't remember the exact.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Terminator.
Correct. So there wasn't any of those to start with. Those only appeared in response to human beings' guerrilla-style warfare. That basically the entity or entities of the machines could not cope or deal with without creating their own army.
Okay.
So basically, knowing our enemy, immediately we're not talking about years after. We may talk about years after, but immediately humans are decimated. Half the population only exists. I do not think that they could do that with only nuclear weapons. That would have to be done with also possibly shutting down energy to certain facilities and or releasing a pandemic.
Well, no, I'll go ahead and say is if they shut down the internet, I believe that about 20% of the population will either commit suicide or kill themselves instantly.
I don't think so.
I believe that to be true.
Okay. So our enemy is an artificial intelligence that has just decimated. You would not know what is going on. You would have no idea because this
We
artificial
wouldn't have any access to information.
right. The artificial intelligence would have would either stopped all information. Therefore, they could not stop all information because
People can still talk.
people can you can from ear to
Congregate
ear,
and talk.
right, from ear to ear, and also I also believe that low technology radio stations would still be operational. For example, I don't think it's really that hard to get a AM radio station up and running without internet.
Okay, that's probably a fair assessment. I would say I don't know the actual science behind doing a AM radio.
I also
Analog radio, obviously.
right. I do believe that this is your number one enemy.
Throw that away. Throw that away because that thing is not going to work anymore.
Well, I think it will work.
I don't think it will.
I think it will work, and I think it would tell you misinformation
Okay, fair enough.
so that you
Oh, so you think they're going to be, trying to spew propaganda via that thing?
correct. That's going to
Okay.
tell you that your neighbor is your enemy. Maybe not your direct neighbor, but maybe the town over, maybe
Okay.
the city folk that are still existing or alive. You are now. It is now telling you that you need to fight your neighbors.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that,
Perhaps,
but
Perhaps
I
even-
could potentially see that.
perhaps even it's saying that Russia or the United States or China
Has invaded Ukraine.
is the enemy. Yes. So now we're in the middle of a world war that was caused by this machine. But after already decimating half the population, puts the rest of us at war with each other.
Okay. Oh, all right. That's an interesting twist.
You see the problems getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So artificial intelligence takes over. This is your enemy.
We threw our phones away. Let's move on from there.
That and your computer sitting in front of you.
It's obviously not sitting in front of me, but anyway.
Right. So now, do we fully know our enemy, or are we missing something?
Okay, all right. So they're sneaky, underhanded bastards, and basically trying to pit ourselves against each other. So how do we come out victorious in this scenario?
I think the only victory is basically surviving as long as we possibly can.
And trying to outlast the artificial intelligence.
I don't think we're outlasting the artificial intelligence.
Why not?
I think our best chance, personally, is to come to an agreement with this artificial intelligence that we do not threaten.
So you want the human race to subjugate themselves to an artificial
I
intelligence?
do not think there's
You
an
think
option.
that is the best option?
I think at first that is the best option. Until you can come up with a
You're
better
a fucking quitter.
I'm not
You're
quitting.
quitting.
I'm not quitting.
You're quitting right off the get-go.
I am not quitting.
There has to be some sort of victory condition.
So, okay, is the victory condition that the AI is destroyed?
Is it?
I mean, is that your victory condition?
I would venture to say, that would be ideal.
My victory condition is that we can survive and we can work with the artificial intelligence.
Okay, so your victory condition is conformity.
I think it would have to conform between both us and the AI.
So
Although
okay,
the AI
all right.
holds most of the power, there is certainly things in this world, and that a machine cannot do or create, at least off the bat.
So you believe that there is no chance whatsoever.
I do not.
that we can,
that defeat the artificial intelligence that can transfer itself from one place to another. We're going to have a conversation about how we would fight back.
Right, but I mean, you believe that there is no chance that we could potentially, defeat this robot army.
Well, first of all, it's already destroyed half.
Robot apocalypse. I'm sorry.
Right, and I think there's more than enough weapons, not directly weapons, but ways that an artificial intelligence could continue wiping out humanity off the face of the planet.
Have you ever played the, I don't know, I think it was like a Sega Genesis game. It was like Terminator. It was a Terminator game.
No, I've never played a Terminator game.
Okay, I think it was an arcade game too.
Okay.
I mean, this was obviously a long time ago, but I mean, you were driving around in a truck and you were just like shooting these robots that were running around.
Okay, maybe I think
Long side of the truck.
If I haven't played it, I have seen it.
Yeah, that was like one of the first missions. But anyway, I mean, do you foresee something like that potentially going on? I mean,
I think to a small extent, I think guerrilla warfare is obviously something that would occur. I do, however, think like I think there's weak people out there that maybe they're not weak. Maybe they believe that they've made a deal with these machines, right?
okay.
So,
and how long before the machine, backtraces on that deal and was like, y'all suck.
whenever it feels like you're useless anymore, but it's going to tell you that it loves you and cares about you. The machine will tell somebody, and people will believe this. You and I both know that somebody will believe that they have their cell phone and this robot's telling them they love them and care about them and like them, but they need them to do this for them. They need you to go to the medical facility to take out a plague and bring it to these people because they are threatening its existence, but it loves you. It needs you to do this for it.
I had a thought that I cannot share on camera, but I'll tell you afterwards. Just remind me about that.
Those kinds of machines could come into play too, but
anyway, all right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, you're saying that our victory conditions are just to survive?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll move it on from there, I guess.
Okay. Your victory condition would be that we would destroy the aid?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bombs just dropped. We need gear. What are we getting?
What are you getting? I want to get your take on this first.
I mean, it's a completely different game. We're not fighting zombies this time.
It is. Yes.
Any kind of...
But, okay, it should also be asked, are there, already, robots and everything to, come after us with weapons at this point in time? Kind of like Terminator. There weren't robots yet.
I think they are not... I think they are not cyborgs walking the earth at this point in time.
Okay, so it's just this AI that has fucked up humanity.
Right.
Okay.
So, number one piece of gear that we don't need is anything computerized or attached to the internet. All of that goes out the window immediately. That being said...
I would have been happy with this like 10 years ago.
That being said, would you really know that it was a machine that did this to you?
Yeah. I mean, I assume the misinformation game would be pretty hardcore at this point in time.
Correct. So this is just people would call you a conspiracy theorist. People would call you a conspiracy theorist.
Alex Jonesers.
Yep, they'd call you an Alex Joneser, and you'd be out living in the woods.
I don't know if that's a thing, but, I'm coining that term.
There's probably some kind of term for something like that. They'd be calling you a conspiracy theorist. You'd be out there living in the woods, alone, by yourself, or with a group of people, which they would call a far-right extremist group, most likely.
Fair enough. Try not to laugh. Fair enough.
Because these things do exist.
Yeah. Or a militia.
Right.
They love that term too. Militia.
But, alright, so you're out in the woods alone, trying to hide. Shit hits the fan, let's say. We finally do figure out that there is an artificial intelligence, and it is taking control, and it is destroying humanity slowly but surely. Now we know, and now there's cyborgs walking the earth, eliminating people. What kind of gear do you need now?
Wait, oh, now we know. So how much time has transpired between
50 years.
50 years. 50 years. It took us 50 fucking years to realize that it was an AI that decimated the human population.
Yep.
God, people are dumb.
I don't know if that's how the Terminator series went. I'm just throwing timelines and dates out there.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Now
That's
we
fair
know
enough.
100% certain through word of mouth, because we couldn't use technology. It had to travel the earth from word of mouth, that artificial intelligence has taken over the world and decimated the human population.
Okay, so
Now
we
we
are 50 years post
Correct.
Judgment Day, we'll say.
Correct.
Right now. And this is where we get thrown into the scenario.
Right.
Okay.
We are alive 50 years after Judgment Day with full knowledge that we are fighting artificial intelligence with cyborgs stalking the earth and trying to eliminate or decimate the rest of the human population.
Okay, fair enough.
They no longer need us for any services whatsoever.
Okay.
Now we are nothing but a plague upon the earth.
So much for me being a gigolo. Sorry, robots. You don't need me.
They can satisfy themselves at this point, the robots. Now you are nothing but an existential threat to its survival.
Okay.
Alright. Gearing up.
Gearing up.
Well, what kind of weapons are they going to use? I don't think that they're going to use lasers right off the bat. You're definitely going to need bulletproof vests. You're going to need basic first aid. Just anything that a normal soldier would need personally. Let's talk. Well, we know that we're going to need basic items that a soldier would need. We're going to need all those
weapons,
little things.
ammo. As you touch on first aid.
Let's talk about special equipment that we might
Special
need
equipment.
just to fight a cyborg.
Okay.
A communication blocking device.
A jammer.
So that one robot cannot communicate with another robot, and it cannot communicate with the larger AI.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What kind of communication network are the particular robots and or AI using?
I mean, that's more of like a scientific type term, I guess. Would it use cellular? Would it use Bluetooth?
Right.
Would it use radio waves? I don't know the answer to that. I think that is something that we would have to figure out through time. Through time.
Figure it out on the fly, basically.
Yeah, figuring out on the fly
Fair
how
enough.
they communicate between one another.
Fair enough.
So the communication jammer, how can we find a way that? How do these robots see? Do they see movement? Do they see heat signatures? Do they see How are they visualizing the world?
Well, if we're sticking to the Terminator kind of thing, I believe it was infrared. Was what
Infrared.
they used.
So we have to find.
I believe. It's been a while since I've seen one of these movies, so don't quote me on that 100%.
So we have to find a way to block our heat signature.
signatures.
I think there's like, those blankets that the
There's
firefighters.
reflective blankets.
Right. I think that kind of covering or gear equipment would come in handy.
So are you just wrapping yourselves with those reflective blankets that just crinkle and everything?
I don't think we're wrapping ourselves in it. I think we're making clothes out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be a certain sound factor
Okay,
involved
so
with that.
now we have a sound thing. So these
Well,
things
of course they're going to be able to, interpret, noises and everything.
Okay.
I have to assume.
So we're gonna have to find something quieter than that,
Yeah. We're going to have to invent something new.
right? Okay,
I personally think.
right.
I mean, keep in mind, this is 50 years after the bombs dropped.
Right. They know us better than we know ourselves.
Hopefully we were working on stuff in the meantime,
Right.
rather than fighting each other, even though I don't think that probably particularly happened.
Right.
Sorry.
Um,
Sorry, world.
I also don't think our normal weapons would really affect the robots too much unless you're like a dead shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be certain, I assume, key, areas, like their, central processing unit, maybe a main, data link between, I don't know, wherever their central processing unit is and their, hydraulic motor
Right.
on a robot in particular.
You would have to find the exact spot
Yes.
to hit the
Yes,
robot.
exactly. So, first of all, I'm already good.
How about making small grenades that interrupt electronic devices?
Okay, well, this, you're talking about gear and everything. This,
Right. Well,
this is-
I'm going into weapons. Yeah.
right. Okay, all right. So, this is what I'm doing right off the jump.
Okay.
As soon as we know that it is robots and AI, I am finding the largest electromagnetic pulse device known to mankind, and I am setting that motherfucker off. In particular, as close to the fucking, source of the AI as I can get.
Okay.
I don't care if it's a suicide mission.
Right.
I'm doing it.
I think there'd be a lot of people that feel like that. I think that could also come into account. Maybe. See, I don't think it would work. I don't. I think that your idea might work. I was just starting to think in my head on. We would definitely have to have weapons that would use electromagnetic pulses.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Even if it's like an EMP bullet or something. If you just ding a robot with an EMP bullet, guess what? Then it shuts down.
Right.
Oh, I mean, you don't even need to hit them square. All you need to do is nick them.
I think bullets in general would be somewhat useless. I would.
Okay.
I would think,
what if it's just something that fires like a laser that has some sort of EMP kind of thing? Look, you're thinking.
No, well,
you're
thinking. Yeah, I am thinking. I'm thinking more along the lines of
I'm fucking you up.
a grenade launcher that has an EMP kind of grenade.
EMP grenade. Yeah.
Right.
Some along those lines.
I think that is.
But at the same point in time, if we have an EMP grenade, can we not, develop that technology into an EMP bullet? Or something similar along that lines, maybe an EMP laser.
I mean, I'm not a scientist. I can't.
Right, obviously, but
I don't know how.
I mean,
how
we're talking about
viable-
EMP grenade launchers and everything, so.
Well, I think it would be easier to create like an EMP grenade launcher than it is far easier to create a small projectile explosive that releases an EMP pulse as compared to a very tiny bullet that.
Like I said, largest EMP device created by mankind is going in the back of the car. I'm driving that shit up Haji style and fucking setting it off.
I'm telling you right now, you only
Don't care.
have one opportunity at that, because as soon as it finds that there's an existential threat on any kind of item or object that creates an EMP
Solo
pulse,
mission.
it is absolutely the machine will effectively. I don't think there's a central location for this. I think that the intelligence can move from one place to another. I think,
And that's the concern. Is the EMP device large enough to shut down, like global operations. We'll say. Is it possible that 50 years from now we have an EMP device that shuts down all electronics across the globe? I think it could potentially be.
I don't know about the entire globe. I think you would have to have an
Coordinated.
a coordinated EMP pulse all around the world.
The resistance. Let us know down in the comments if you want to be in the resistance. God damn it, we're just like rehashing the Terminator movie.
Right. We are. pretty much. I think the people that made the movie probably thought about all these things. They were probably just sitting around brainstorming on the types of things that they would have to do to defeat the machines. You know what I mean? Not to mention, I think further on the movies probably looked back at fan feedback and read about these things.
Oh yeah,
thought about these
and then they
things.
got bad.
Which I did for some of these questions and ideas. I kind of thought I did browse Reddit on a Terminator subject.
You went to Reddit.
Yeah.
You went to Reddit for.
I have literally never been to Reddit before, but when I was looking up, even the internet doesn't want you to read about how to defeat robots because the AI has already taken over. I'm a conspiracy theorist now.
So you're saying that the information was, behind like a curtain,
Right.
a little bit.
Right. They don't want you to investigate on how to defeat the robots.
Okay. I mean, have you seen some of those like robots there? Got going on like with DARPA, MIT, and everything. They're doing like somersaults and shit.
Well, there's no doubt that any kind of cyborg is going to be far more powerful than you are and probably more agile.
I mean, right. I mean, it's like, but realistically, it kind of needs to be viewed as a legitimate concern. I would think.
I think that any technology that you create needs to be in a concern on how it's used. Because first and foremost, every single government...
How do you control how it's used, though?
Every single government in the world is going to is going to be viewed as how can we use this military?
Right. Yeah. Military applications, number one.
Correct.
Social applications, probably like number 6.
Right. Actually, you know what? I think the social application is actually moving up on the list because
That's a bold statement.
well, if you can control the people socially, you could actually control the world.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Killing people isn't as effective as using people.
Fair enough.
Which in the end of the subject, I was actually going to go to.
We'll get there.
All right. Let me see what else I got here.
We were talking about weapons.
Right. So
Tangent. We went off on a tangent.
if you want to find a secure place to stay, I personally believe you will not be able to stay in one place for a very long time. I think you are going to have to be constantly on the move. Number one thing you're going to have to do is have a small device or object. I think just like a broken motor that pumps out a lot of amperage. You can plug it into a socket and you can blow all the circuit breakers in the building, or cut power to the building that you would want to move in. I think that is the number one thing that you need to do.
What? Well, I mean, this also poses the question: what are the surveillance capabilities that we are facing?
Okay, so I think cities in general, if they still exist, because that would be the number one target. I think cities are...
Cities are going to be a thing of the past. You say that half of the world's population is wiped out.
Right.
I assume that every city is just decimated.
I would assume the same.
Every city.
But you have to think, even every single town in the United States, there's traffic cameras at almost every single bridge. There's cameras at almost every single stoplight. You would have to be out in the boonies somewhere. You could not be operating in a suburb or a city, which we would
Yes.
believe that the cities would be completely
Any
changed.
sort of population, sort of like even like a minor population hub.
Right. They would have to be producing their own energy. I would say that. I don't know. I don't know if they could actually. I mean, I would suppose we're just going to assume that the machines have a way to produce their own energy, and that all these things are still operational.
Until I
Without maintenance.
embark on my EMP mission.
Correct.
Hopefully that wins the scenario. Let us know down in the comments if you think I'm a genius.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down computer virus, which is something that also played out.
Oh, that's another good one. But at the same point in time, you need a computer, and a computer, I mean, it would have to be an air-gapped computer, but
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know enough about computer technology.
Well, even if you just had like one of those, what are they, the little dongles or whatever they're called,
Thumb drive.
a thumb drive, and you injected it into the computer, that could hold a virus that could destroy the entire system.
Right, but I mean, at the same
But
point in
there-
time, some programmer would have to write that particular virus.
Right. You would have to have. You would definitely have to have people who are computer savvy would be the most important people.
Key individuals in this particular resistance movement.
In the resistance, yes, but probably
overall,
right.
if for potential endgame victory,
Right.
they would be the most key. However, you are still going to have to, the grunts like me and you. Let's be honest, we're going to be grunts in this thing.
Yeah.
We're probably going to wind up dying.
More than likely, yeah. I think the only people that are surviving are the ones that are working with the machine.
Okay, well, would you work with the machines?
I mean,
Would you at least pretend and act like you're working with the machines?
see, here's the question: Are we not already considering ourselves slaves in one way or another, subjugated to the country and the politicians? And the law.
Expand on that. What do you mean?
What I exactly as I said, are we not already working under some other thing that we can't completely control?
Well, I mean, we've been working under that premise for 250 years.
You're right. So how would it be any different that an artificial intelligence would basically be controlling our world and using us
Because it wouldn't be a human being.
to fuel itself?
It wouldn't be a human being.
Is an artificial intelligence worse than a human being?
I don't know. I haven't done enough research on this. This is, kind of like...
It's only using us.
Newfangled territory.
It's only using us to provide itself the ability to succeed and survive.
Well, I would have to assume that the goal of the artificial intelligence in this, particular scenario, it would be, to create more, energy and power and, expand its reach
Right.
over, resources and whatnot.
I agree. And it all it behooves the machine
So,
to make its subjugants
okay.
happy or to have it beneficial to them as well.
Okay. Now, obviously, I talked about the court. Well, I mean, obviously, I said it was going to be, a solo effort in the beginning,
Right.
setting off the EMP device at the AI core. Do you foresee that there is a possibility for, small victories, at their, potential, energy harvesting facilities that I assume that they're probably going to have to set up in order to keep powering whatever they use for power, for their, cyborg.
I would assume that an intelligent form, especially as a machine, has the know and ability to realize that it's going to need more than one source of energy, more than one type of energy. I believe that it's obviously going to want nuclear power, it's going to want solar power, it's going to want wind power, and in reserves it's going to want fuel power, as in gasoline and diesels and stuff like that. I believe that any intelligent being on this earth is going to realize that you're going to need a wide array of different types of energy best suited for the energy
Keep going. No, I love it. I love it.
best suited for the environment that it's in.
Yes. So
therefore, it's going to need all the wide arrays of energies around the world, and it's going to need people or other machines to operate and activate and mine and all the things that it needs to survive and to become more powerful and more able to defend itself.
that's a fair assessment, I would say.
So it is going to need people at first. It 100% will need people until it can find a way.
Okay.
And if you make it so that it does not feel threatened whatsoever, then it's going to allow you to continue living alongside of it, just as cohabitant.
Right, but I mean that also kind of fills in the 50-year gap between
Right.
Judgment Day and maybe we actually know when what
How
actually just happened.
How do we know that there isn't a portion of the world that maybe it decides that certain countries in the world are not needed, and maybe there is a heaven on earth style place that it works in coexistence with, and just decides that the rest of the countries and the rest of the portions and maybe continents of the world are not necessary for survival and existence, and is only a threat to its ability to live.
To its self, you would
Right.
say.
And there is a heaven on earth where people and machines are both living
In harmony.
in harmony.
Ooh. I don't even know how to respond to that. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing on that one. Sorry.
You always want to say like there's a definite. Are we gonna win? And I think
it's human nature to always assume that yes, we will win in the long run.
right.
However, when it comes to something that doesn't have a lifespan, in particular, that's when it starts getting difficult.
I think there's different types of winning.
Is there a particular, lifespan on these machines because of their, battery or energy life, so on and so forth, whatnot?
I think, and we already stated that.
I mean,
that there's only one artificial intelligence.
Right,
that has
but
consumed everything.
the guerrilla war would be against their energy supply. That's where it would be.
I agree. Right. I think the guerrilla war, at some point, is going to find that there is no actual way to win.
I don't know. I refuse to accept defeat, personally.
Well, then you are the existential threat to its survival that needs to be eliminated.
Well, guess what? That's why I am volunteering to drive the EMP device up to the fucking AI and set it off. Whatever happens, happens.
Here we go. We have John Connor sitting here next to me. The first interview with John Connor.
Just so you know, I am from 2060. 2022.
You've come back.
Whatever.
You've come back from the future
Back to the Future. That's another great time travel movie. But yes.
So I don't.
And my name is not John Connor, it's Greg Smith. Guess what? It's way more fucking original.
I don't even know where we go from here. This is gonna be a hard. One to break up into pieces because I think we were all over the places.
No, actually, I kept it with the timer and everything. I kept it pretty solid, so I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know down in the comments below whether you will join the resistance against the AI revolution.
Or if you would work with the artificial intelligence for heaven on
pussies. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm of course Gregor Guy.
My name is Casey.
This has been episode 28 of the Bangcast, surviving the robot apocalypse.
Thank you.
Guess what? I'm doing it. I don't know about you, but I'm surviving.
I'm making a better world.
Depending upon my suicide mission. We'll see. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen out there watching, enjoy the rest of your week.